Hey, it's Amaya with Neil Patel, and today's lesson is going to be walking you through the workbook on business intelligence and the questionnaire we've prepared for you. Essentially, we want to get a snapshot of where your business is right now, what you think your target market is, so that we can then compare it again later down the road when you've done some more testing, development of products, different sales processes. See how far you've developed, and also just give you a good idea of, what's actually missing from your business right now. You may not be able to answer all these questions. And the good news is you don't necessarily have to. Over the next, few months, you're going to be able to answer everything on here plus more. It's going to be a total eye-opener. So let's go to page 1. Number 1, how your business got started. Now, the questions following on this section are going to actually be used in the branding module at the end of this month of content. So it's important that you try to answer these as much as you can, but if you can't, we are going to walk you through this in a lot more detail in upcoming videos. So question number 1, what made you decide to start this business? Is there a specific reason why or a story behind it? It could have been a pivotal moment to you, or you could have accidentally stumbled into it. Either way, origin stories are really powerful. So try to get a good answer in below. Why did you decide to offer your main product or service? What burning desire or need does it fulfill? Now this, again, could be that pivotal moment. Maybe you decided to offer it because you had a bad experience with another product in this market and said, I can do it better. Or you realized that there was no product that existed or no service that existed in this market. Maybe you have a unique approach that you think solves something very specific for people or makes it more convenient. That's something that you want to answer within here. Number 3, what makes this service and product unique? Specifically, how is it better than any other option your prospect may have, including doing nothing at all? This is very key because a lot of times prospects will, first of all, do a whole bunch of research on a lot of different products, and either they'll choose your competitor or they'll become paralyzed with choice paralysis. They have too many choices and nothing differentiates or makes anything stand out in particular to them, so they don't choose at all. So you want to make sure that you have a differentiating factor about your product or service, so people will easily be able to choose you without having to worry about all the other options or feeling like there's nothing stand out about anyone and just walk away. Again, if you can't answer this, that's okay. In later modules, we're going to go into client mindsets and help you discover what that specific differentiator might be just for your product and service. Section 2, why would someone not buy from you? Number 1, are there any drawbacks to your service or product? This could be something like adverse effects if you're selling something like a supplement, right? Maybe a specific group of people cannot use it. Maybe people who use it find that they suddenly are more sleepy or that they have too much energy, so don't take it before bed. What are some of the bad things that you can think about right now? Maybe not bad things, but challenging things about your product or service that people would be able to list out or would cause them to pause before pushing that buy button or add to cart button. Number 2, as a follow-up to the previous question, are there any common objections that come up during the sales process? Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be about benefits or features. Instead, it could be about something emotional, or it could be about something like the price is too high for me, or I have to talk to my wife or husband, something like that. You want to list all of those here. Number 3, what will a prospect lose if they don't take action now? Now, this is more important than what they're going to gain, and here's why. When you look at a ton of different tests and studies, you find that more people are motivated by the potential loss of something than they are by the potential gain. And there's a simple reason why. Our brains are made to function as efficiently as possible. And therefore, when we think about gaining something, our brain usually instantly correlates it with effort. Obviously, that's not very efficient. However, if you already have something and you might lose it, it would be more efficient for you to save what you already have. This is a totally evolutionary process, and it's so instantaneous, most people are unaware that they do this. So you want to make sure you understand what that loss factor is, because it can be very powerful in your marketing message. Just like understanding the objections of your potential client is going to help you be able to address them before they ever come up. Now, on to section 3. Define your niche, fears, relief. So you want to know the target demographics of your niche. Now, you may have more than one of them, so you can list, maybe make a couple columns when you go to write this down, but you want to make sure you list as much information about them as possible. Age, income level, gender, occupation, etc. Try to be as specific as you can. We're actually going to go into this a little bit more in a couple different videos coming up. But just to get your brain kind of rolling here, list as much as you possibly can think of. Now, what are the top 3 fears related to your niche? In other words, what keeps them up at night? Now, this doesn't have to be rational. In fact, you may find, looking through customer testimonials, or if you consult with people, things that they have, told you in your consultation process. It seems completely irrational, but it comes up frequently. And you'll find that a lot of fears are, basically irrational. But again, that whole loss factor really motivates us to do something about it. So make sure you put those fears in there for each different demographic that you've listed. And lastly, how does your product address those fears? How do you offer relief to that problem that they've got, even if it's completely irrational? Again, if we go back to that weight loss example, the irrational fear may be that someone will literally point and laugh at you if you're on the beach because you haven't lost the weight. How does your product address that fear? Maybe it helps them look better when they don't have clothes on. You need to be able to list these out as specifically as possible. Here's a good example. One of my friends created a hormone cream for women who are going through menopause. It was completely all natural. Now, there's a billion of those products out there in that market, and a lot of them make some very general claims. Helps with the symptoms of menopause. That's not a very powerful marketing message. What he did is he found out what the fears of women were, and he found that most women going through menopause, one of their biggest pet peeves was the heat flashes. And then he got a little bit more specific. He found out it wasn't just heat flashes. It was the fact that not only did they feel like crap when they went through the heat flashes, but their makeup completely melted off and it made them feel unattractive on top of it. Well, what did he do? He literally did a test where he changed the marketing message from, treats symptoms of menopause to never have your makeup melt off again. Banish your heat flashes. Treat the symptoms of menopause with ease. Okay, completely different marketing message, but still the same thing. It actually increased his results 400%. That's how much it increased his bottom line. That's a pretty incredible result. So you definitely want to find out what those fears are because you could have something incredible happen to your product or service as well. Results. So what sort of results do your clients see after using your service? This could be something that is practical or it could be something that's emotional. Make sure you list both of them there. Do they feel a certain way, or do they look a certain way, or do they have an increase or decrease of something? Make sure you list all of them out, whether they are literally material or physical, or they are emotional. Number 2, if you could wave a magic wand and give your clients an ideal result from using your service, what would it be? Again, this doesn't have to be a practical, material, physical result. It could just be an emotional one. So you can list as many as you want here. Now, if you had 30 seconds to explain what you do and why it can help a prospect reach their goals, what would it look like? Of course, this is your elevator pitch. So when you think about an elevator pitch, we want to be able to explain our product or service in as little as 3 sentences if possible. If you can get it down to 1 or 2, that makes you even more awesome. Essentially, you want to be able to have 1 or 2 lines that instantly tell someone why they should want what you have. Number 4, can you give us a list of your biggest competitors? I want you to try to list anywhere from 5 to 13, even if they're people that you consider completely out of your league. Again, if you're looking at weight loss, you want to look at people like Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers, something big, because we're actually going to use them as markers for what you can aspire to or plan for in the future. Maybe not in this immediate moment, but in the future. And it's going to actually give you a lot of insight in our upcoming competitive intelligence modules. Last section, business intelligence. What's your current revenue per year? What's your profit margin? What is your average lifetime customer value? If you don't have the answers to this, that's a little concerning, but that's okay. We actually go through and help you find those answers in some later modules. I know that a lot of people just kind of throw themselves into a business because the opportunity came up, and you may have never really measured that stuff. So it's okay if you don't have it, but we definitely want to start measuring it upcoming here because it's going to make a huge difference in being able to see if something is effectively marketing your business and if it's not. Number 2, what's your business website? Can you tell us more about your best-selling products or services? Again, this is really for your own use. If you just want to jot something down quickly, that's okay too. What does your marketing funnel look like if you have one? If you don't have one, that's okay. Maybe you just have a sales page or people fill out a lead form on your website. What does your current marketing strategy look like? Again, if you have one, some people really literally just function off of word of mouth. They've had a shop on the street for years. They inherited the business from their parents. that's okay. Put whatever you have down right here, whether that's word of mouth marketing, referrals, if you are using, AdWords, if you are doing Facebook ads, whatever you have, put it here. And number 4, what have you tried that failed in the past and why do you think it didn't work? And I want you to not only talk about this from a completely practical standpoint of I didn't have enough ad dollars or I didn't spend enough time. Instead, I also want you to think about the mindset that might have been behind it. Maybe you were expecting results too soon. Maybe you were actually scared to succeed because, the thought of growing that quickly or that much was a little overwhelming. It's totally okay to be as honest as possible here. This is for your own purpose and it's going to help you grow as a business owner. In the next module, we're going to go through another workbook. So I'll see you there when you get through finishing this workbook. It'll take you about 15-20 minutes, maybe a little longer. And if you've got like a business partner or someone that you want to help you walk through this, I totally recommend it because you need this snapshot and a lot of these questions moving forward into other modules and lessons.